What's up guys, welcome to Diving Garage. In today's video, I got a couple products here from YESWELDER. I got a TIG welder and a plasma cutter that the guys over at Temu sent me. And today we're gonna be doing an overview, basic setup, and testing to see if these things can get you up and going, fabricating on a budget. Let's dive in. Figuring out within 15 minutes, going from this to that, not bad at all. Now, like I said, huge shout out to Temu for sending me this TIG welder and this plasma cutter. I skipped the unboxing because you've all seen people take stuff out of a box before, and there was nothing to it. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to get the TIG welder centered, set up, and then we'll get the plasma cutter set up as well, and then let's do some testing. All right, so this here is everything that comes in the box with the TIG welder. I will say right up front, this TIG welder is very, very light. I'd put this at, I don't know, maybe 12, 15 pounds. It's not much. Compared to some of the other welders I've held, this thing is extremely light. It comes with some instructions. We know exactly what to do with those. And it comes with some hose for your gas line. And it comes with a 220 to 120 converter cable. I do have 220 in my shop, but I know not everyone does. So I'm actually going to be running the 120. So I'll get this plugged into the end of the power cord there, because I know not everyone has 220. I want to make sure you get you a good real world use. And this here is a star of the show. This is a TIG torch. First impression, it's very light. The cable is pretty flexible. You know, it's not too bad. It's not stiff. It's not really super pliable, but it feels pretty good in the hand. The torch has a nice, I don't know, like rubbery kind of grip. It's pretty good, and we shall see how it performs. I bet it'll be fine. But yeah, that's kind of it for that. And this machine also does do stick or arc welding. I'm not going to be showing that in this video because I don't have the setup for that. But just so you know, it does come with that. And of course, you got your ground cable. Kind of is what it is. Normally, these kind of stink on cheaper welders, but this one feels pretty good. It looks pretty strong. I normally upgrade these, but we'll see how it performs. And it does come with a few consumables for your TIG torch. I'll tell you right up front, if you're buying one of these, you're missing some stuff. If you have any experience welding, you already know what you're missing. So this is everything that it comes with. We'll get it fired up, set up, and then we'll go over some of the things that you're gonna need in addition to all this. So got a little bit of extra rubber here on the, what is that, earth terminal? Okay. No big deal. All right, I guess that's not going anywhere. Now the actual torch. So set that to the side. I do like how it's like a braided nylon cable. That's nice. Let's get this connected. Get that nice and snug. We'll get this guy on there. Okay, so far so good. Everything's going along just fine. So let's get the gas hooked up too. All right, so obviously the kit does not come with your shielding gas. I'm gonna be running 100% argon here, pretty common for TIG welding aluminum. And this is the first piece that the kit does not come with that you're gonna need. This is just a regulator and flow indicator. It does come with the hose, but it doesn't come with the regulator. So make sure you plan on buying this because it doesn't come with a kit. So I'm gonna get this installed on here and get it hooked up to the machine. Now I had initially planned on using this hose that came with my regulator, but I wanna make sure we're getting a good review on everything that the welder comes with. So I'm gonna set this to the side and grab the hose that the welder came with. Okay, got that set to about, I don't know, 12 and a half, 13 liters per hour. Should be pretty good. Yep, that should work pretty good. All right, so our gas is connected. Our ground cable is good. Let's get the TIG torch assembled, and then we're gonna set this to the side real quick and then work on the plasma cutter then we'll get to welding and cutting. No, you really don't need to put too much pressure on any of those pieces. Just nice and finger tight, it's good to go. Okay, kind of as you expect, you get some instructions, and you get an air fitting, which we'll go over in a little bit. You know what to do with these. Another 220 to 120 converter cable. You got your ground or earth strap. You got some extra nozzles and ceramics for the actual cutting torch. Cutting torch, honestly, I really like the feel of it. It's got a good, nice, easy grip, good trigger feel, nice little guard there, and it comes with a cup and a nozzle ready to go. This cable is a little more stiff than the TIG welding cable, but that's probably okay. I don't think you need as much flexibility when you're plasma cutting than you do when you're TIGging. And then this setup does come with some clear, like push lock style hose. I'm not going to be using this, and I'll show you why. Now on the back of here is where that push lock hose would go, but I'm going to be using compressed air, so that's why they give you this fitting here, and they get a little bit of Teflon tape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off this push lock fitting and put that one in. There we go. Kind of have to support the regulator a bit. No problem after that. This is a 17, by the way, in case you're curious. All right, no problem. So this does have an O-ring. I'm gonna try without the Teflon tape because there's an O-ring, and we'll see what happens. If it leaks, I'll add some tape. If not, perfect. So here's the 14. Now, I'm not gonna go crazy on this because it's just an O-ring. Nice and snug is all you need. All right, now let's get the torch hook all hooked up. There's really only one way this goes on. You got your gas supply, nice big brass fitting there, nice and easy. Voltage positive, put that ring terminal on there. Oh, there are two washers on here. Kind of trap it between there to get a nice good connection. Here we go, and then your sync cable. All right, and that's the torch all hooked up. Ground cable, super easy. One input, only other place left. Boom, nice and easy. All right, let's get this thing fired up. Nice quick startup the second time. There we go. It does a few things right off the bat. It recognizes you're on 110. We got no air coming in, and right now this is maximum voltage for 110. You really only get between 20 and 35 amps. That should be plenty to cut through some thinner stuff. But I did get the torch all connected. It's really pretty straightforward. You got the torch connect, positive lead, torch input, earth or ground clamp. And then what you would do next is connect your air, and then use the regulator in the back over here to get that dialed in to what you need. This setup is pretty simple. You get the air dialed in, get the amperage dialed in, you press the button on your torch lead and freaking send it. Very, very straightforward for this one. Now let's get to TIGging. All right, so remember that thing I said about doing this with little to no experience? Well, it came back to bite me in the butt. When I was setting this machine up, I totally overlooked the fact that this is a DC TIG machine, not an AC/DC TIG machine. So I'm over here, admittedly, I was trying to weld up some aluminum with this DC TIG machine, and I've heard and read that it's possible, but not for this guy. So I'm gonna switch over to the proper material, some mild steel. We got the right tungsten, right filler wire now, and now we can test this thing out. So let's go over the settings. And also what I found was that I was welding on a circuit that I thought was higher amperage. It was only a 15 amp circuit. So I have a 20 amp service that is still not really enough, but that's what we're gonna roll with. what we're gonna be doing is some HF TIG. So, if I can get this, there we go. So, let's start from here in pre-gas. We're gonna give that a second, that's fine. At the starting amps, let's go up to 50. Slope up, let's give that a half second to slope up. And then our final amperage, let's just start to do 120. We're gonna be welding some 3/16 material. And then so for the HF TIG, you skip all this center section. We'll slope down, half second is fine. And for the stopping amperage, let's just do 20. And then post gas, 5 seconds is fine. So those are like some base settings for welding some 3/16 steel. And I do have it on 2T mode, if you can see that. So basically when you press the button, then the weld is going. When you release the button, the weld stops. That kind of like that. The other options you have are 4T, so you press it, you do your welding, and when you're done, you press it again, and then it'll stop. And spot welding is for spot welding, we're not doing that. All right, that's the basic setup. Let's get to it. I'm not gonna use any filler rod quite yet. I just wanna get some passes laid down so I get a feel for the machine. All we're doing, this is just a piece of like exhaust hanger tow hook off of somebody's car that I worked on at one point. And I just got it ground down, cleaned up, got a nice good ground, or I guess positive for our earth clamp, and we're all set. Let's do it. Okay, so that is all I was really trying to accomplish. I dipped the tungsten at the last second there. All I was trying to do was get some beads run to see how it reacted and how it felt, how our settings looked. It looks pretty solid for the first rip at least. And I was just doing some quick circles there like you would on a MIG machine. And I am happy with that. I'll do a couple more and then I'll start adding filler just on a flat here, again, just to see how it all goes. All right, my weld speed was a little fast on that one. That is on me. I am happy with the way this is looking. Got nice heat, and I dig it. Cool, so I'm gonna flip this around a little bit. Let's add some filler and see how that goes. Okay, that was going pretty good. That was my bad. I was stick out really bad. And it's gonna build up pretty high because we're not actually welding anything together. We're just throwing weld on top of here. But so far, so good. Let me see if I find a chair or something. I'm like all awkwardly leaned over here. Should help me out a little bit. If I could just not choke and die, that'd be good. Understand what's on fire there. Okay, so I think my travel was really slow, or the amps were really high. I'm gonna turn down the amps. I just kind of take a guess at what was required here. But I mean, it did the job. The error here is on me. It did initiated an arc, took the weld, and yeah, I mean, that's what it's supposed to do. But here, when I was going extra slow, you can see the heat range is way out here. That's on me. So let me turn the amps down quite a bit and try it again. All right. And with a little bit of a settings adjustment and some adjustments on my part, we're getting some solid welds now, guys. Come check this one out. This is my perspective. Let me get a pointer here. So this here was the first one I did, adding some filler material, and as you can see, it's really high and really porous and not good. This is the one I did second, adding filler material with the amps way too high. You can see it's all burned out, and at the end here, it like completely started caving in the material, and it's just no good. But with a little bit of adjustment, you can get a nice bead, even heat, even travel, and not too bad of a finish. So in 15 minutes of setting up and checking and testing with the right material, of course, man, I can't get that thing to focus. Hold on, it goes decent now. Anyway, this material, this bead weld here, is not perfectly straight, but it's solid, you know? For being my first time TIG welding, figuring out within 15 minutes, going from this to that, not bad. Not bad at all. All right, so now that we know that TIG welder works pretty good, let's try out the plasma cutter. And I actually have a little project we can do with both of these things that I need to do to my truck anyway. So let's get that thing out. All right, so this here is the header off of my truck, and it needs an O2 bung. So what I've done is I prepared the area we're gonna be cutting and welding, and I'm gonna get the plasma torch, cut out the hole I need so that I can put the fitting into, and then we're gonna get the TIG welder out and weld it on there. So we're gonna go full process from cutting and finishing. Be pretty good. Let me show you the settings on the cutter. All right, so here at the bottom of my little welding rig, this is the input air, and you want this at between 0.3 and 0.45 MPa. That comes out to about 54, 53 PSI. And then I'm just gonna go with 30 amps right here. This is not super thick material, and that should be pretty easy. As for post flow, 5 seconds, that's plenty. So doing this, there really isn't a lot to adjust. Okay, should be pretty straightforward. I'm just gonna do a little quick test cut right in the center, and then we'll get to it. Test the air. Good air. Good post flow. All right, here we go. Okay. I think my breaker tripped. That might have been asking too much of it. Yep, sure did. Okay. Now let's see. I'm gonna turn it all the way down to the lowest settings. We'll put on 20 amps. Let's see if we can't get a cut at 20 amps. Woo. Man. Honestly, I didn't know what was gonna happen, so I just wanted to see if it was gonna work at all. This is intense. Wow. I'm probably wearing the wrong footwear for this. It did punch right through it though, even on the lowest setting. See if we can do it. A little nervous, not gonna lie. Okay, that worked really good. Yeah, okay, so on 20 amps, I'm able to get right through this header, no problem at all. 30 was probably a little ambitious. Okay, so I guess now that I see that it's working, see what's gonna happen, I'm gonna get the rest of it cut out, and it should be pretty straightforward. Okay, almost there. A little bit more touching up. See, and it's not a perfect circle, but that's my bad. But it got right through it. All the pieces landed in there. I'll get them out, no problem. Yeah, this is our little O2 bung, and you can see here, plenty of space. I just need to clean up this hole, make it an actual circle. but that took about 10 seconds. Man, that's awesome. That beats using a drill and a uni bit for sure. For sure, that's great. And that was so easy too. All right, I think we're great. All right, not gonna lie, in this situation, I would normally get the MIG welder out because I missed big time. But for this video, I'll at least get it attached with the TIG welder to show you guys. And what I'm gonna do is just use the TIG torch and melt some of the material in a few places to get it kind of tacked together. There you go, so we'll tap right there. And a little tap there, so over here. So let's dump a bunch of filler rod in here and see if we can't close up these holes. Well, I mean, it's coming along. It's coming along, that's for sure. That big old hole kind of sucks. Well guys, that about wraps it up for today's product review. Overall, the plasma cutter did great, the TIG welder did great. I just need to definitely practice and get my skill set up with that. With these two products from YESWELDER, you get a yes from me. If you liked the video guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and get out there and dive into your next project. Catch you next time.